Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the anxious avoidant dance, which is a really common dynamic that couples tend to get into. Hi, I'm Emma Coble. I am a licensed professional counselor. I work with couples and feminist women in Colorado from a trauma informed lens. So, what is this anxious avoidant dance? So, in partnerships, oftentimes it's very common for one person in the partnership to be more anxiously attached and another person to have more of an avoidant attachment style. So, what happens with this is that an anxiously attached partner is, and by the way, this can change completely, like relationship to relationship, different dynamics can change it as well. Yeah, like you can change throughout your life circumstances might change this, but in this dynamic, the person who is anxious tends to really want to connect, tends to get nervous about loss of connection or sometimes abandonment, even if it's like emotional abandonment. They often feel that they have to work really hard to make connection happen. And this can come about for a lot of reasons, but oftentimes in childhoods, people who have anxious attachment had sort of like inconsistent attachment with primary attachment figures. So some of the time, their primary attachment figure was super present and there, and some of the time, that attachment figure might have been overwhelmed, stressed, unable to connect with them emotionally. Avoidantly attached people often really value like independence and like their own lives, and they also fear becoming like overwhelmed in a relationship or losing themselves in a relationship. And so what happens in the dance with anxious and avoidant attachment is that these two attachment styles can really trigger each other. So someone who is anxiously attached might be seeking reassurance, seeking connection, which makes the avoidant person more nervous and potentially pull away. And then that makes the anxiously attached person more anxious. So then we get into this negative spiral, negative cycle. And I want to say to you that if you find yourself caught in this cycle, you are not the problem. The dance, the cycle itself is the problem, and that is something that is entirely healable and fixable. And by the way, if you do suffer from anxious or avoidant attachment or a mixture of both, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you're not broken. We can change these things. We can change them in relationship. And it also doesn't mean you're incompatible if you find that this dance is going on in your relationship right now. Healing is truly possible from this. So, what do you do about it? So, the first thing I want to say is like, name this dance, name the pattern you guys are stuck in. Make sure to like externalize it. You're not, neither of you is the problem. So, try not to like blame the other person with like, you're never there, or you always retreat into yourself, or you're too much, or something like that. Like, try to name what's happening. Name that, hey, we're getting caught in this pattern again. And music. The next thing I would say is, sorry about that. The next thing I would say is to identify the triggers. So notice for you what sort of sets this cycle going. So maybe if you're someone who's more anxious, maybe if your partner has been distracted or on their phone or has been slow to text back, maybe an emotional conversation triggered it if you're a more avoidant partner. So speak from the vulnerable part of you when bringing this up, rather than accusing or blaming. Like, maybe being able to say something like, when you go off into your office for hours, I feel scared that I'm not important to you, or something like that. So speaking from these softer places can help the other person feel disarmed and seen and not as threatened. The next thing is to reassure each other's nervous system. So work to, you know, like be able to take care of your partner's nervous system by reassuring them. Maybe letting them know if they're avoidant, like you don't have to fix anything. You are a great partner the way you are. Like just letting them know that they're enough. Because often for avoidant people, they are concerned that they're not enough. For anxious people, it can be really nice to hear, like, I'm not going anywhere. I love you. I want to hear what's going on. I care about your feelings and your suffering. Remember, again, that this isn't fixed. This is something that can change. And you can do a lot on this individually in trauma therapy. IFS, EMDR are great for this, and in couples therapy. And I highly recommend EFT couples therapy for this as well. So if you do have any questions or you need help with this, feel free to reach out, and I hope you have a great day.